4 players die 003 ADC here, and he turns that into a triple kill. Across 2 games he uses different runes, but both follow the same rule. Survive first and then you engage. Aphelios wins the long fight. If you copy these runes without spacing, you would just die faster. Now, what he's trying to do is space out Nautilus, and this specific match is one of the hardest matches that I have seen people said that Samira can actually take over the match if you just make mistakes, and Nautilus allows her to do that. Now, the best and the most interesting part of this is the wave control. More often than not, you raccoons might actually try to take over level 2 thinking that that is the win condition for this spot. What you have to do is ideally poke them down as much as possible to make sure that you can take care of them, and whatever they try to do, you're gonna win the team fight, or you play the wave slow and you make sure that it's in a spot where they actually cannot dive you and run you down. As you can see here, they commit that, he gets level 2, then he goes to punish them. And now, even if they were to hook Brown, that doesn't really translate into Aphelios having to overstep, into Brown dying because the wave position. So that's what he's doing. And that's something that you should try to do in your matches. Address how you are actually going to play this match and play slow. Now, he makes a mistake here getting poked because he respects the range. But again, that could probably translate into he dying if he was close to the enemy tower. But because he's in this spot, nothing really happens. He's not losing the game out of that. He can still play the game and he can still relax and chill, you know. So he's gotta be careful with this angle and avoid this hook. Now, Brown getting hooked again. Brown doesn't use the shield, Brown doesn't flash on time, and once they are level 3, it starts becoming a little bit tricky, you know? Like, he can tank only so many hooks. Regardless, not a big deal. He's farming his minions, he knows that he's gonna win the late part of the game, so it's all good. And another tricky thing here, which is the barrier with the Doran's bow. Little Tempo still not coming into game, but here we're gonna see that Doran's bow allows him to tank so much more with the barrier, makes the barrier even better because you have more HP, and that HP from the shield actually is more valuable because you have more resistance. So he sidesteps hitting the Inferno on the minion, and then triple kill. Triple kill because he's playing max rage, triple kill because he's sure that what he can do against the Talia, and triple kill basically because he had not died before in lane. You know, he had barrier of cooldown. Pretty easy, pretty nice setup. Now, another very difficult spot here, and something that can happen to you very often, is this wave positioning, you know? They trying to play this thing, but here's where the lethal tempo actually comes into play and takes over. Do you see that? More often than not, what would actually happen here is that people would be afraid to fight that Samira. Why is that? Because Aphelios doesn't really have that much of a lean power unless you're playing Crescendo. But when you're playing Lethal Tempo, you can actually take any Aline that you want and be able to win it just through Inferno auto attacks, Gravitum auto attacks, Calibrum auto attacks. It's still not perfect, but very good, very playable. So that's basically how you counter this type of engages. You space it out, as you can see here, auto attacking to spacing it out, not getting hooked, not getting rooted, and then you send it stack in the lethal tempo. 5 stacks, 6 stacks, and now he's Super Saiyajin, bro. They just have to run away. Very easy. Like, if they try to overextend, if they try to look for an Aline, which they always do, then you can pretty much win it. She overextends again, auto attack Inferno ultimate, and then she disappears. 4 lethal tempo stacks, pretty good. And another very important thing about lethal tempo is that every single stack is providing you attack speed. And that is so good if you are maxing your Q, you're maxing your E, because that just maximizes the damage output that you can do. Now, here's another tricky thing, which is Collector into Phantom Dancer. Maybe you don't really understand well how this works, but for example here, he keeps maximum range. And the 4% move speed just from the seal allows him to look for better angles, allows him for not having to commit flash on the first engage that he does. He can wait, he can play slow. On top of that, he can punish more reliable than before. Severum auto attack, Severum Q, Crescendo auto attacks, and then he just takes over. Simple as that. Very easy and very mainstream to execute, you know, like very frontwards. Use auto attack, more damage, more kiting, easy to win. Very simple. Now, like I said before at the start of the video, you pick up these runes, you go this build without really being that knowledgeable or knowing how to kite properly. The only thing that's gonna happen is that you're gonna end up dying faster, because Phantom Dancer is gonna allow you to get better positioning, but if you are not mindful of your clicks, you are just gonna misclick more. So this is more like a next level of your build. PTA is the highest damage output every single time, more than Conqueror, more than Lethal Tempo, if you are using at least one ability to stack it. If you are only auto-attacking, Lethal Tempo is the highest damage output, and Conqueror, in reality, the only way that he can do more damage than Conqueror, the only way that he can do more damage than PTA with Conqueror is that if you are not broken a single PTA stack, you know? So, math-wise, PTA beats Conqueror every single time, and Lethal Tempo beats PTA and Conqueror only if you are perma auto-attacking, okay? Simple as that. It is not about short trades, like middle range trades or long trades. In every single spot, PTA does more damage. Now, back to the game, Phantom Dancer with Collector, the main name of the game, as you can tell here, is kiting, ramping up and then re-engaging again when you have a good spot. So, as we talked about that in the beginning, you do the damage, you reposition yourself, you disengage, and then you re-engage with a good position and with your lethal tempo stack. And that translates into dishing out so much more damage compared to that you would be able to do with PTA if you did not stack it easily, you know, like if you did not proc your PTA that fast, which is sometimes very difficult to do. I get that, but more often than not, PTA just gives more damage. Auto attack, Inferno Ultimate, auto attack, lovely. I think the main key of this build of these runes is understanding that Collector with Phantom Dancer second is pretty much meta right now. It's one of the strongest build paths that you can go. The beauty of playing the champion though is that even if this is one of the strongest builds that are here right now, that doesn't mean that you should just be doing that, okay? Because as you can tell, it is not like a perfect build that's gonna get you out of everything. Mordekaiser just kills Aphelios with auto attacks, but it is a build that works very reliable. And for example, if you like Conqueror more and you wanna go Collector or you wanna go Storm Razor, like I would suggest you just keep doing it, bro. You just keep doing that build. You wanna play Gathering Storm and Absolute Focus because most of your games go past minute 30, then just keep doing that. You wanna play Lethal Tempo, go for it. Fleet anything that you like. Because the most important part of improving and climbing is actually macro and micro, you know. You could probably climb if you want to go Cracker Slayer too. And the thing that we are learning on this match, and something that you can imitate with every build that you wanna do, is looking for a good position before hard committing, you know? Like here, auto attack, Gravitum Q, Severum Q. Now that guy got random, flash dodge the Mordekaiser Q. He gets pulled. He QSS that to get extra move speed to be able to kite the Mordekaiser. One stun on the Mordekaiser and free. So you see what I mean? This would happen if he has something like Collector into LDR, into Infinity Edge, into Runan, into Yaksho, into Force of Nature, into whatever, bro. The same logic applies to every single match. You wanna kite, you wanna stay max range, and if you're in a bad position, you wanna reposition and then start dishing out as much damage as possible. Now, these different builds help you out to commit to the playstyle that you like. USS, lovely, great amount of damage there. And one reason why Phantom Dancer also works so well with Aphelios is because Aphelios doesn't really have that much mobility, you know? And Collector, with Lethal Tempo, and Phantom Dancer work very well because more often than not, when you are using Collector, you are overkilling the enemy. You are just min-maxing damage, and that extra 5% is meaningless. But when you dish out small amounts of damage way faster. Like for example, with the lethal tempo bolts, you are more prone to proc the collector and actually get those executions. Now back to the Conqueror. We are going Doran's Helm again with Barrier, and this is a little bit more tricky scenario because I would say that in this spot, if Alistar engages on Kai'Sa and Rell just engages on Aphelios, it's pretty much game over for this guy, right? Like Kai'Sa can use ult and auto attack this brother, or they can just ignore Alistar and use Aphelios. We're gonna see how he deals with this small thing and how he's allowed to space this out and make sure that no matter if Rell tries to look for him, he's still gonna be on a very good spot. We're starting strong again with the Alistar engaging on the Kai'Sa, and now we're gonna see what actually happens with this brother trying to play very aggressive. Alistar engage, Rell engage, auto attack, auto attack, auto attack, getting minions, not hard committing. Different from Lethal Tempo, Conqueror is not really that good level 1. Lethal Tempo is the strongest rune level 1. Like if you actually wanna hard commit, send it, Lethal Tempo is gonna give you that. Conqueror is good, very good, but the problem with that is that the healing is the only thing that can justify Conqueror. And more often than not, that healing is not real. We're gonna check that out in this match. We're gonna see how many times Conqueror actually works out, how many times Conqueror can save his life, how many times Conqueror does nothing. You know, every single one of those spots we're gonna check out. And now that they are trying to punish the Rell not to engage, because ideally, what they can do is make sure that even if Rell tries to engage, Alistar just counter engages that, you know? Great Calibrum Q into Severum offhand auto attack to make sure that they don't lose that. Already Rek'Sai trying to flank, Severum auto attack, Severum Q, and Conqueror with C6 stacks. Now this brings me to a very fun point, which is that if you were to stack Conqueror with Severum Q and you compare that to starting a combat, starting a fight with Severum Q to having PTA, you might think, okay, I have Conqueror stacked the fastest way possible with a Severum Q. Conqueror for sure does more damage than PTA, right? You would be completely wrong. Even in a scenario where you can stack Conqueror even almost immediately, PTA still out damages Conqueror. Isn't that crazy? I find that very interesting. But then again, if Conqueror saves your life, which probably doesn't, then it's better than PTA, right? Anyway, we're gonna break that down here on the different teamfights, and you tell me if I am hallucinating or this is actually something real, you know? Still very chill lane. He's not hard committing, he's checking out the jungle. Now we see Rek'Sai top lane. This is a free engage. He just needs to set it up. Auto attack, he ping spot. Gravitum Q, Infernum auto attack, Infernum Q. Very good Gravitum Q because he did not instantly proc the Gravitum Q on Kai'Sa. What he did is hit Kai'Sa and then heal Rell, wait for the allies to position correctly, and then he send it. This is very good if you wanna make sure that your allies are gonna react correctly, you know, like for example here, holding it again, Gravitum Q, and now he allows Talia to burn the Rell flash because he hold it very slow. Going straight to Dirk again, Collector, holding the wave, making sure that nothing crazy happens. He's not gonna lose it under tower, probably trimming it because he doesn't want it to crash right away and bounce back, but he also cannot just get it all under the tower because that would be free play for Kai'Sa. Very tricky position, very reckless too to just take that half HP, but I respect that, you know. Engage, sidestep the rail, auto attack, Infernum Q, auto attack, Gravitum Q, sidestep. Probably cannot survive that. Flash, barrier after the Q. Good. Ooh. Oh, lovely, bro. Lovely. Great slow on guys in the last second, bro. That is just flawless. Changing the the focus at the last second to get the slow on Kai'Sa. On top of that, using barrier right after the Rell Q to make sure that he gets the value and Rell doesn't break the barrier, you know? Insane. Alistar engages. Follow up, follow up, follow up. Calibrum Q. A little bit late, but still very good. Talia, very good follow up. 14 chakrams, 15 chakrams, 16 chakrams. Crescendo ultimate, crescendo flash, 16 chakrams. Madness. Insanity. One of the reasons why Severum into Crescendum into Calibrum is so strong. His brother is holding 16 chakrams with that. Insanity, bro. Lovely. Now, very simple, very logical conclusion. When you are playing Severum, you wanna play a lot of mindful infights with your Conqueror, right? Like you wanna proc that Conqueror as fast as possible with your Severum. So Severum is gonna be your weapon to go. That is something that I find very interesting, and you guys let me know what you think about that. There are different weapons that work with different runes. Like with PTA, you probably wanna go Infernum Calibrum because that is the easiest way to get that extra damage and make the best out of your Infernum Calibrum. With Fleet, you wanna play Severum Calibrum, Severum Crescendum. With Conqueror, you wanna play Severum. Very interesting. Now, again, keep following auto attack, Gravitum, Infernum auto attack, Collector with Phantom Dancer. Name of the game right now is making sure that if you get engaged, you are not gonna get one-shotted. If you don't get one-shotted, then you just win the long fight. He has full stack Conqueror, he's gonna heal like a madman, right? Bomba, bomba, and bomba. Very good. Not a crazy amount of damage, not a crazy amount of healing, but that's how the rune works and that's how you play this rune. Another very important thing here too is that, and this might be a factor why Phantom Dancer is better, I want you guys to let me know if you think this is the case. Even when he has everything stacked, if he were to misposition and get hit by a knockout, get hit by stun, anything, he's just not gonna survive, right? Like it's just not gonna happen. But he's gonna still keep selling it. Now, Phantom Dancer works very good with Conqueror and Lethal Tempo, just because he is able to get the most out of the Lethal Tempo, getting 6 auto attacks fast as possible, and with Conqueror getting that to stack as fast as possible. Now, this is one of the team fights I'm talking about. If he were to play PTA right here, he would be able to proc it very quickly, right? Like auto attack, PTA proc right there, 50 seconds, 53, 54, 55, 56, and this is probably another PTA proc on Kai'Sa. So Kai'Sa would die. Very, very close to not be a second proc of PTA, but could be a second proc of PTA. Regardless, what I mean is that, okay, sure, he's the Conqueror all the time. Does that mean that he wins? So it doesn't mean that he wins. Conqueror healing is meaningful when it works. Now, what are the chances that it's gonna work? That is the problem, right? Because what you wanna do if you are trying to improve, first of all, is having fun, okay? First of all, is having fun. This is a game. So you're not having fun, we'll find some way that you have fun. Severum auto attack, Severum ultimate, Severum Q, and bomba. And this is another example, right? This is another clear example here. Probably, even if he had PTA here, he wouldn't be able to kill the Kai'Sa as fast as possible because he procs the Severum there, and then he procs some Orexa, but they only would be able to proc one time. And then here, this 34 health, he is only allowed to survive this because Conqueror healing. So we saw like 3 team fights so far, maybe even 4, and it has only worked one time. So you see what I mean? The win rate or the win condition of this rune is not really there. It's not that reliable. Regardless, whatever rune you decide to play, whatever gameplay you decide to go, remember that you need to kite first and then you do the damage. If you just imitate these builds without even thinking exactly what you want to do, what's actually going to happen is that you're going to end up struggling and you're probably going to end up losing your matches. So what I recommend you, if you want to take away anything from this video, go test the collector and Phantom Dancer. You feel comfortable with your Kite. check out Conqueror, check out Little Tempo. But if you wanna climb fast and you wanna climb in a reliable way, just pick up whatever build, whatever rune you like, and just send it, bro. 1v9, 1v9. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to drop a like and comment. See you in the next one. Thank you, bye bye.